because I mean, there's different research on habits, but I believe it's like 60 something days to create a new habit. It could be longer. Let her look it up. Let's see what she says. But you have to do things consistently to make a change. And I think that's the hardest thing for people. Like,
On average, it's 66 days.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. 66 days to create a new habit. So think about that. Can you commit 66 days of doing the same thing or doing something different than you're doing now to make a change? Mark it in your calendar. 66 days worth of change. And then it becomes normal, right? It becomes like part of the routine. At first, it's like hard.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you make a change, it is hard. But if you give up after try two, then
I mean, yeah,
you won't accomplish it.
I agree.
Welcome to Her Unshakeable Confidence with dynamic mother-daughter duo Simone and Olivia Knego, where they discuss the secrets of transformation and how to build bold confidence and unwavering resilience. From intimate conversations with inspiring guests to sharing their personal journeys of triumph and challenge, Simone and Olivia create a supportive space where every woman is encouraged to rise above her fears and love the woman in the mirror. Tune into Her Unshakeable Confidence and join this special journey of connection and growth. It's like catching up with old friends who inspire you to be bravely and uniquely you.
Welcome to this week's episode of Her Unshakeable Confidence. I'm Simone Knego.
And I'm Olivia Knego.
And it is December 31st. We are talking the last day of the year, last day of 2024. It is
I was
shocking.
gonna be like, it's the second to last day of the year. No.
Hello, math. Hello, math.
I don't. Okay.
I mean, I didn't say December 30th. I said December 31st.
You very clearly said the 31st. I don't know what happened there.
Okay. Well, anyways, it is the last day of 2024. And we are talking about New Year, New You, New Year's resolutions. Do you believe in them? Do you not? And we'll just start there because...
Yeah. Well, I think first we should look at the statistics about it.
Okay. Let's talk statistics.
About 52% of adults under 30 plan to set resolutions with participation decreasing significantly among older age groups.
So 52%
of adults under 30.
Okay.
So
yeah, because
a lot of the population.
Right. But let me tell you, as you get older, you stop doing them because you know why?
You realize they won't work.
Yeah,
which will bring me to my next statistic.
Yeah, tell me the next statistic.
Only 9% of people report sticking to their resolutions for the entire year, while 43% quit by the end of January. Quitter's Day, the second Friday of January, marks a significant drop in motivation.
I love that. There's actually they've named it Quitter's Day.
I don't.
So, okay, the fact that 9% continued the entire year is really pretty impressive. Okay, that in itself that's a victory. But I'm going to tell you, I just don't believe in New Year's resolutions. I believe when you want to make a change, you should do it now. You shouldn't wait for some arbitrary date that says, "Oh, yeah, January 1st, I'm going to go on a diet. January 1st, I'm going to stop being so hard on myself. January 1st, I'm going to whatever." Right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to start running. Why wait?
Why not? Okay. So
tell me why.
To that is, I was thinking about this while I was doing my laundry today, and one of the things I want to be better about in the new year is like when my laundry bill is full. Why am I not washing? I literally live in the apartment with my washer and dryer. There's no excuse. And so I was like, okay, like that's a resolution for the new year. But I guess you're right. Like, why not do it? Because it's easier to set that timeline to be like, okay, I'll switch my bad habits when. I don't have to think about this issue till then.
Yeah, but that's the problem, right? Like, if you have an issue, you should work on it right away. You shouldn't wait, again, for some arbitrary date. Because as you push it off further and further, then it makes it like, oh, this is no big deal. This is no big deal. I don't really need to do this. And then, so that's why I think it's easier to just quit on it because you're not committing to it right now. You're committing to it in the future.
Well, I also think a lot of people start things that they just like won't like to do. And I'm telling you, the only times I've ever like had a resolution and stuck to it is because I genuinely enjoyed doing it. Like, I think my prime example was one summer, I was like, oh, I need a hobby. So I just taught myself to crochet.
Yeah. In the moment.
But that I only like that I only taught myself because I enjoyed it. I have made the pact that I will consistently exercise for the rest of my life to myself so many times, and I hate it.
So stop selling yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up for failure.
I have stopped.
Yeah. I mean,
and I have no enjoyment that comes from it. And I think that's why a lot of people get off of the fitness wave.
That's why I'm off of it.
That can be a topic for another conversation, but I think that resolutions, people think they have to choose the hardest thing ever in order to make an impact in their life, when it's probably like the only way change is going to happen if it's very minute, especially in your life. It has to be something that's so easy, well, not necessarily easy, but so
small and attainable.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Exactly.
I'm here for you.
Because saying that, by the end of 2025, I'm going to be a whole new me. I'm going to have a brand new body. I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week. But right now, I don't go to the gym at all. And I like my body, but I would describe it as ready for the sofa rather than ready for the treadmill. But so like, if that is totally unrealistic, and of course, like halfway through, I'm going to be like, oh, well, I'm not going to do that. But if instead I was like, you know what? Like, I should probably start walking more. My joints are hurting. Let me see if I can go to one walk a day or maybe one walk a week.
Start with one walk a week.
You can start that. You're right. At any time. I think the whole idea of New Year's resolutions, though, and why I don't necessarily think they're a bad thing, is because they can encourage people to have that jumping off point. I just think that people are too... What's the word? They're too high.
It's overly ambitious. They set the bar way too. They set the bar way too high. Yeah.
Realistically, because I think the big one when people think of New Year's resolutions and failed ones is the fitness journey and the failed gym memberships. And I'm going to tell you, I don't think there's any shame in that.
Failing a gym membership?
Oh, yeah. Not at all.
I don't think there's shame in it.
I don't think there. I think some people out there might listen to this, but they're gonna. No, it's not shameful at all, girl. It's happened to me, and I know how hard it is to get out of those memberships. But
yeah, well, supposedly there's a new law that however, not just for members, but for any kind of membership, we'll see if it really happens. That it has to be as easy to get out of as it was to get in.
Well, that's good.
You can lawyer that up.
But from an actual New Year's perspective, you're trying to change your entire routine rather than trying to change a small element of your routine. So like an easier thing to do, because Mom and I always say this, and because abs are made in the kitchen. I think it's a funny little saying, but like it's really about like the whole nutrients that you give to your body. An easier resolution to like focus on your fitness would be, okay, instead of having ground beef, I'm going to switch to ground turkey.
Or instead of having a sweet treat every night, I'm going to have a sweet treat on certain days of the week.
I can't do that, though, so I will never promote that.
Okay. So then
instead of having like an ice cream bar every night or a pint of ice cream, I'm only going to have like a cup of ice cream.
There you go.
Like it's not cutting out the ice cream completely or adding the gym into it. It's slightly altering your current routine.
Yeah, I don't think you should make yourself suffer for anything, right?
Oh, never. Especially if it's for yourself. Like...
What?
No, in the way of it's a goal that you've set for yourself. Sometimes it's hard to get out of other people's like contractual agreements. I just took a contracts exam. Can you tell?
I was like, what are you talking about? But this has to do with ice cream?
Make yourself suffer if it's an expectation that you have set on yourself.
Okay. Yes.
Not saying that you shouldn't go out and meet it, but like you shouldn't be like, oh wow, this is such a terrible goal. My life is miserable now that I've set this for myself.
Yeah, why set goals like that? Jeez Louise.
And then why set yourself up for failure then?
But here's what I'm going to say is that the fitness goal to me, and the reason I find it probably the worst one that you do, because there are goals that you can set at the beginning of the year. You can set them in December, even better, in June, even better. But I think what setting a fitness goal January 1st does, it puts you in the mindset that you can do nothing and eat whatever you want from Thanksgiving to Christmas. And you know what? You're going to fix it in January. And I just feel like moderation is the best thing, right?
So then what do you think about dry January?
I 100% disagree with it.
Okay.
Do you like it?
I don't really drink enough to the point where I would ever can be considered dry for me. Like
Yeah.
I'm going out tonight, and the last time I've had alcohol before that was like, oh, I guess I had a glass of wine on my birthday. So like a week. Like, but it's not like something I would like miss. I'm a social drinker, but I'm not very social.
That's true. That's true.
I don't really drink all that much.
She doesn't watch movies. She's not social. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you do what works for you, but if you're trying to prove something to yourself, great. If you're doing it because it's going to make you stop drinking in the future, great. If you do dry January and then you drink like a fish in February, I don't really get it. So I just try to be consistent, right? I'm consistent in my alcohol consumption, and I think it does me well.
Okay.
You're supposed to laugh about that.
I thought that was funny, actually. But
trust me, I have taken periods where I just completely stopped drinking, but what I've realized is that I just go back to drinking the same amount that I was drinking before. So it's like, oh yeah, okay, I proved it to myself. I can stop drinking. And you know what? I like certain drinks. Like I like the taste of wine. I love your dad's margaritas. He makes great margaritas. I don't drink just to drink. I drink because I enjoy the flavors.
Yeah.
Are you stunned?
No, I'm just thinking about the concept of dry January then, because it's like, what are you really trying to accomplish there? And I think people are trying to be like, they're compensating for like excess during the holidays.
Yeah, I think they're either, people do these detox, fine, but I think they're also proving to themselves like, okay, wait, I'm really not an alcoholic. I can take this time off.
You know what? And honestly, like, yeah, if you need that for your self-esteem, your confidence, go ahead and do that.
Yeah, whatever you need, do it. But
also, like, don't be upset with yourself if you fail, I guess.
Again, it depends on why we're setting these. I don't want to say rules, but why we're creating these limitations for ourselves and saying, okay, I'm going to do this, this, and this. Is it because it's something that we really want, or it's something that we feel like other people are looking at us and saying?
Yeah.
So,
and I think, part of that definitely goes back to the fitness goals. Like, are you going to the gym because that's what you think the people around you will want to see? Or are you going in the gym because you actually want to?
Yeah. And there definitely is a piece where, I know I have to be back in the gym. I'm planning it. Not that I'm planning it for January 1st at all, but it's the right thing to do, right? To keep yourself healthy so that your body lasts longer. And I can make sure with my 6 children, that I can see whatever grandchildren I'm going to have later. Like I want to be active enough that I can do all the things. I've kind of changed my outlook. Like before, it used to be like I was so focused on the competition part of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I like competed at, but just against myself. And now it's kind of like doing things just so that I'm going to stay healthy.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think a lot of people do dry January.
Well, 23% of Americans are planning on it. It's a really high amount.
And what percentage actually make it through? Or do people not answer that study?
I don't know if they
I bet you they don't respond to that one. Did you make it? Nope. Don't tell anyone.
I don't think they put that one out there. Yeah, I think it's really interesting looking at the reasons for failure. Obviously, commonly cited as losing motivation. And I think that comes back to our earlier conversation of you're setting your goals. You're overly ambitious. Yeah.
Ask yourself what you want. Part of my real method.
Yeah.
Pillar number 3, ask yourself what you want, right?
And it's like Rome wasn't built overnight, too. Like you can want to be a billionaire, but that's just not going to happen overnight vibes.
Yeah. And the idea of, okay, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to get fit in 2 weeks. Okay. It doesn't work that way.
Like, yeah, this isn't The Sims, unfortunately.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be nice? Not really. I think that anything that's worthwhile takes work and consistency. And I think, again, going back to this podcast, it's about consistency, right? We're recording every week. We're dropping an episode every Tuesday. And I think that consistency is key for all aspects of life.
And I think I think it is kind of weird that people wait till New Year's to kind of change
Oh,
their
wait,
lives.
so you're coming my way. Ho ho.
Yeah, but I understand why people do it. I just think it's,
Yeah.
especially in terms of health, because looking at it, the top 3 are related to health. Mine are related to cleaning. Like, and honestly, it's because,
Do my laundry more. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's because in the next couple
I
of weeks,
do
I'll have to set a
laundry
time again.
almost every day. That way I never have to worry about it piling up. Now, I've done that because there's so many of you.
Yeah, I mean, I would not have to do that. So
Yeah. Now I'm down to every other day. And pretty soon it's going to be maybe twice a week.
Besides like losing motivation, the other factors are being too busy and shifting in goals and priorities. So how would you tell someone to overcome something, they're too busy for it? They're too busy for the change.
Well, again, you have to prioritize stuff. So I think that deciding what really matters to you and making sure that you allocate time on your calendar for that. A lot of times we have these big goals and we say, oh, we're going to get all of this stuff done. But we don't even look at our calendar to see if we can accomplish it. And I'm a huge proponent of using your calendar to accomplish whatever goals you have, because if you block it off, then it will happen. So even if you're blocking off self-care time, right? Time to go read a book, block it off on your calendar so nothing else interferes with it, and make that commitment to yourself. But I think often that we just say, oh, this is what we're going to do, but we haven't really looked at our time constraints or figured out if it's even possible, because we do have so many other things going on every day.
Yeah, I think that's like timing issues and people not realizing what it kind of takes to create change.
Yeah, and I think we have an idea in our head of like, okay, this is what I want to look like, or this is the weight I want to be. And I think it's more of, and this is like the vain stuff, this is not to do with health. I think it's more of understanding what it takes to do that instead of just saying, oh, this is what I want to do. Right. And really kind of doing some research behind any goal that you set so that you make it attainable. You make it a SMART goal, right? That you can measure it.
Yeah.
And
I think that it's,
I'm going to get in the best shape of my life. Okay. What does that mean?
What does that mean? Yeah. Like it comes down to, I don't know, setting actual goals and like setting numerical values, or like just not like a blank statement or an ambiguous claim. Like, I'm going to be better, but how are you going to be better?
Right. So a SMART goal.
I want to be kinder to people. Okay. Specifically, how are you going to do that?
Yeah. Do you know what a SMART goal is?
No.
Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So, okay, what's relevant for you, right? If you say that you want to not let the laundry bin pile up to the top, so set something very specific, like I'm going to do laundry when my laundry bin gets to this much, or I'm going to do laundry. And actually, I think it's better to say a specific date, because like I'm going to do it every Tuesday and Sunday or whatever, and keep to it, because if you're specific about it, it's much easier to manage. And how do you measure it? Well, okay, you get it done. And yeah, I mean, you got to think about the time, because a lot of times that it really, we don't think about those things. We just say, oh, I'm going to do this. And then we don't realize how time consuming something is going to be to accomplish it. Yeah. I mean, my writing this second book, I thought I would have it done last year, right? This book has taken me a solid, and I started over because I didn't like what I was writing. So it's taken me a solid 2 years, which I just signed my publishing agreement. So that's, thank you. Very exciting. But if you don't set a specific goal, a SMART goal where you're able to measure it, then it's really hard to say, okay, like, and a time constraint. Even with my first book, I said, I'm turning everything in on this date. I don't remember what it was anymore, but it was in 2019. I'm turning everything on this date. And wherever it is at that point, that's where it is. Because you see people who are writing a book and it takes them years and years and years. And sometimes they never even publish it because they can't finish it because they haven't set that goal. I mean, there's other reasons too. That's an overgeneralization, but I think it's really important to set a time specific goal so that you can accomplish it.
Yeah. One of the things I'm seeing is that it's important to like give yourself, and just in general, we've said this so many times on the podcast, but it's important to give yourself some grace and some slack, because successful individuals are likely to experience 14 slip-ups during a 2-year interval.
That's good. That's a lot of slip-ups. But a slip-up means they're still going back to it. So
that doesn't mean falling off.
So I think
getting back on.
I would be curious to know that the people that are not considered a slip up, that they just stop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm a big believer in that you try and try again, right? You're not failing.
Yeah.
You have a bump in the road and then you go back again and keep doing more. But to see the people who actually stop after they've had one slip up, I think that's the hardest thing, right? I think that the first time you have a slip up, you're like, oh, do I even want to do this anymore? Like, is this worth it? But the people that go back and continue on with whatever goal they set, like that's true perseverance. To me, that is always impressive, because
I agree.
It is easy just to quit something and say, it's not making a difference. I don't care. But go back, do it again, keep going.
Do you think that we even need to make resolutions?
I think it helps us to make goals, to set goals, right? Because it kind of helps us prioritize stuff, right? Again, not a fan of New Year's resolutions, but I do think that setting goals are important because it helps us guide us on a path. And not for everything, right? You don't have to have a goal for everything you're doing in your life, but something that's maybe more difficult for you to accomplish, if you set the goal and put in the work and follow the path, then you can get there.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think?
Just like to do.
Yeah, but you say that, but that's not true. I mean, think about how you study for tests. You're very systematic, right? You're not just like, oh, well, whatever it is, it is.
That's very kind of you.
I watched you write your flashcards and your notes.
I put my but it's more of like I just do what feels right. I mean, in terms of that, like, yes, I planned it out, but it's when I want to make change or just stop doing something, I just kind of, I mean, it takes a lot normally for me to like want to change something in like a habit of mine, but I don't necessarily think like a goal can come from it. I didn't like expect to like pick up crocheting and be doing what I'm doing now with it. I mean, not much because I'm working all the time, but it was more just like, I need something to do. I don't really tend to plan out the long-term effects of things, I guess.
Well, if you look at habits, and can you look it up while we're talking? Because I mean, there's different research on habits, but I believe it's like 60 something days to create a new habit. It could be longer. Let her look it up. Let's see what she says. But you have to do things consistently to make a change. And I think that's the hardest thing for people. Like
on average, it's 66 days.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. 66 days to create a new habit. So think about that. Can you commit 66 days of doing the same thing or doing something different than you're doing now to make a change? Mark it in your calendar, 66 days worth of change. And then it becomes normal, right? It becomes like part of the routine. At first, it's like hard. Anytime you make a change, it is hard. But if you give up after try 2, then
I mean, yeah,
you won't accomplish it.
I agree.
Are there certain things that you want to accomplish in the new year, not starting January, but just in general, other than the laundry?
I would like to be more organized in general, I think.
That's not a goal.
I know. Okay. I want to check my mail more. I don't check my mail enough, I don't think.
Okay. I mean, that's easy, right?
Yeah, I just like never think to check it.
Okay. So put a reminder in your calendar.
Mail more.
Check your mail. Check your mail. I have like certain things I want to clear out in this house. Like, for example, the room that I'm in right now. Like I've held on to a lot of stuff in here that we just don't need, right? I think, oh, would you guys want it later when you grow up? Like all these old DVDs. Nobody uses DVDs. Why am I keeping these, right?
No, it's definitely not something.
I mean, I have boxes and boxes of Legos, which I am going to keep because I think Legos are for
They're
any
Legos, bro.
Yeah, they're Legos. You just keep them. And if I did anything, your sister would have a heart attack because she is the Lego queen. No, we're not getting. But we have boxes and boxes of Legos. So I record from the kids' old playroom. So literally, I have this great setup behind me. And then off to the left, there's kids' books, there's DVDs, there's Legos. I think we got rid of the Nerf guns. I don't even remember. But yeah, so there's stuff that's one of the things I want to do in the next year is really start clearing out the clutter because I don't need it. And why am I holding on to it? It's not valuable. A lot of it is memories though, right? And you have to cut the cord and say, okay, I don't need this stuff. So that's one of my goals for next year is really, other than publishing my book, is kind of clearing out some of the junk. And I've done a good job in some of the areas, and I'm trying not to let myself rebuild. That's the other thing is that you clean stuff out and then you buy new stuff. So the goal is not to buy anything new to replace the old stuff in the drawers. If it's in the drawers and you never open the drawer, you don't need it.
Yeah. No,
So,
I agree. I want to create better study habits.
What's wrong with your study habits?
They're not great.
Yeah, but what do you do that you don't like, or what don't you do?
I just am not like that consistent with stuff. I was like on a really great schedule, and then honestly, anytime I get a curveball thrown at me, I kind of just don't stay on track with my schedule. So it's the ability. I guess I want to work on picking back up when things don't go my way, specifically with studying. Like if I don't have time to finish a reading, that doesn't mean I shouldn't just do the reading, should not do the reading period.
Yeah, that's an interesting concept because you see that happen with a lot of people who are like, oh, I ran out of time. I'm not going to go back and revisit that. Well, I mean, what is education about? It's about learning, right?
Yeah.
It's not about just the grade that you get on the test. It's about expanding your mind so that you'll know these things for the future. Like, not that I remember anything anymore, but you're young. You do.
Okay. Thank you.
I was waiting for a laugh on that one.
I feel like besides that, I'm honestly crazy content with how I am.
That's good. Your life is full.
Yeah. I think that it's just, I fixed a couple of things throughout the year that were like bothering me about the way I was living. But besides that.
Yeah, I would say that I'm pretty satisfied with most things in my life. I'm sleeping better, so that's good. Not to say that I don't take sleeping meds to make that happen, but at least I'm sleeping. I mean, I had a couple of years where there were certain nights where I just couldn't sleep. I'd sleep for like 2 hours and that was the end of it. So I want to say that I'm in a pretty good place of what I like. I mean, my goals really for next year are just to really ramp up my speaking business, and that's already happening. Like
it really has. Like the last couple of weeks, I swear your calendar is blowing up.
Yeah, she always because she's on my calendar, so we share events to make sure that there's nothing overlapping for the podcast stuff. And she's like, "Wait, what's this? Where are you going for this?" And I'm like, it always cracks me up. I was like, "Oh yeah, I forget that every time I add something new, she gets a notification."
Yeah.
Then she's like, "What's happening in your life? What's going on there?" It's good. So yeah, I mean, that's really my only thing that I really want to focus on. I feel really good about everything else. I mean, your brother is going to college. Like everybody is in a really
your son's
good
getting married
place. Yeah. And she's fantastic.
He's my other brother too. I just like,
again, there's 6 of them. It's like
the
there's
one
a lot.
going to college is not the one getting married.
No.
So I feel like, yeah.
No. So yeah, I mean, I think that I'm looking forward to 2025. I feel like there's going to be really.
It's an odd number. I don't like years that are odd numbers. It's actually really, really bothersome to me that I'm graduating law school 2027. Yeah.
Interesting. That doesn't bother me at all.
25 is okay because it's divisible by 5.
Well, 7 is my favorite number, so 2027 is good. I know.
Well,
really? Did you give me that look?
Sorry.
That's pretty funny.
I think 2025 will be good. By the end
I think
of
it'll be good.
I'll be halfway through law school. So
yeah, true point. And we're doing cool travels next summer. Like there's a lot of good things happening. I cannot complain. And nor will I. Okay. Tell me your calendar, girl. It is the last day of the year. What is the last day of the year? Tell us.
I'm not at all prepared.
That's what it tells us?
Give me a second. No.
I was like, wait, we're not prepared for 2025? Thank you, calendar. That did not make me feel good. I feel like you're using one hand and that's why you can't handle it.
I was.
Like,
actually,
is there something wrong with the other hand?
No. It's you and it always has been. Bring it home, baby.
There we go. It's you and it always has been. Okay? You are meant for this life. You are meant for law school. You are meant for whatever you want to do next year. And this is to the women out there listening. You are meant for all of it. So just keep going. Set your goals. Not on January 1st. Do the things that you want to do. Yeah. If you want to do it January 1st, do it January 1st. But do it then because that's what you want, not because you think the world tells you that you need to do it on this date. Anything else? Any last words for? And this is crazy because we started our podcast in 2023, but this was a full year of podcasting. So that's a really exciting thing to end with.
It's been a really, really good, very formative year of my life.
Me too. It really has been for me at 52.
And
look at that.
Too.
Yeah. And I think this podcast has been a big part of it for me.
Aw.
So thank you.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you to everyone listening.
You're like, fluff, fluff, fluff.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. We're back to being mean.
Hey, that's not being mean. It's just being real. Hey. Being real. I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you for joining us on this final episode for 2024. Not the final episode of Her Unshakeable Confidence, but the final episode of 2024. Can't wait to spend 2025 with you. Always remember, you are unshakable.
Bye, guys.
Happy New Year.
Thank you for listening to Her Unshakeable Confidence with Simone and Olivia Knego. We hope this episode has made your day just a little bit brighter and given you the inspiration you need to confidently go about your week. Always remember to be authentically you. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode. And feel free to connect with them on Instagram at Simone Knego and at Olivia Knego. Till next time.